Everyone, this is Haya, Rendezvous with Haya, your weekly talk about femininity, sexuality, relationships, open, clear, and radically honest communications with me, Haya Kalishman. I am an body-centered, integrative sex therapist and intimacy coach for women and their loved ones. I work therapeutically one-to-one with women. I also work with couples of every configuration, and I give workshops mainly around boundary, consent, intimacy, and touch for everybody, really. I'm also a teacher's trainer or therapist trainer's trainer. And my passions are women's health and sexuality, obviously, and everything that has to do with being in co-committed instead of co-dependent relationships. And so I passionately advocate open, clear communication and radical honesty at every level of your life, really. Rendezvous with Haya is a weekly interactive talk for women who want to know more about sexuality, relationship, intimacy. It could be rename everything you always wanted to know about sexuality but never dare asking. And I'm answering your questions live. So please, everybody, send me your questions and your thoughts, reflections, comments, whatever you like to share with me, either in a private message or as a comment on this post or on Women's Sexualities page, Women's Sexuality Kent on Facebook, or www.womensexuality.co.uk if you want to find us. Today I've received two very, very interesting questions. The first one from Lucy in Dover, asking me, right after she saw me last week, she was very curious about that is her question, how do you get people to trust you and to open up? Because, of course, sexuality, intimacy, sensuality are delicate topics, and most people are afraid to talk about it or are just very shy to talk about it. So how do you get people to trust you and to open up? And I'm really pleased that Lucy had that question, because I, as a therapist, don't do anything to make people trust me or to make people open up. What I do, however, is that I create a safe space where people feel safe enough in themselves and feel they can trust themselves enough to open up to the therapeutic space. So I am not doing anything to the clients that work with me, and I feel that is really very important for you all to know that it is not about me, and it is not about me doing something to you. It is about you finding the resources in yourself to open up to another possibility in your life, to open up to potentialities, and to open up to new choices. What I do is create a safe environment where you have the possibility, where you feel good enough to see that there are choices. So I might suggest new perspectives. I might advise some exercises, some shift of attitude or of vision, but really I am facilitating. And why is that important? Because it gives my clients, it gives you a sense of agency. You have the choice always. So I will invite you to experience this or the other, but ultimately you have the choice. And as a woman, that is something that I feel so passionate about that I teach it. Consent, boundaries are essential in our lives, generally speaking, but even more in a relationship, and especially in a romantic relationship context. So as women, I feel very passionately about empowering my client to have agency over their own choice. So I love that question because it really allows me to hand it over to you. It is all about you and all about your work, not so much what I do, but how you feel you make yourself able to evolve towards your positive outcome, which is something we defined together at the beginning of our work, and that I am in charge to keep track of, so you don't go off track and um, go somewhere or another direction or completely into another work. And I think that all of that, creating the safe space, being open to being open and flexible, and at the same time being contained and boundaried, that is what helps you, my clients, to feel safe, to trust, and to open up. And mainly to trust and to open up to themselves, not so much to me, because very often what we do is that we are not honest with ourselves, and we are chasing something that has been all along in ourselves. And all we need to do is to be brave, actually, and to give ourselves permission to see it, to feel it, to hear it, to feel our body, to hear the voices that are talking to us, the advice, and sometimes the negative comments that are inside of us, from childhood trauma, etc., etc., and just being open to do that. There is one poet, one Sufi poet that I love, and it's Rumi, and Rumi says something along the line of, your mission in life is not to look for love, but to identify all the barriers between you and love and to get rid of them. So basically, that is what I teach my clients, is to identify their blocks and how to overcome them, how to go through, pacify, bring peace, bring rest, so that instead of forcing anything, the doors open, the doors to new information, new behaviors, new desires, very often can open. The second question was about libido and peri, and post, and menopause and post-menopause, what I also call PMS, premenstrual syndrome, but because I am perimenopausal, have decided to use PMS for pre, peri, and post-menopause, PPPMS, symptoms, and not syndromes, but symptoms. And there are many, and they're varied. So Anonymous from Faversham asked me, does the libido change when you are perimenopausal? The short answer to that question is yes, absolutely. But it can change in different ways because our hormones, let's say our hormonal patterns, our hormonal habits change when we enter perimenopause. The flow of mainly estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, which testosterone particularly is a very, very important part of, or rather a very important factor in our libido, because these hormones change the balance of those hormones change. So our chemical reactions between all the others, with rather all the other hormones in our body, which in turn influence our mood, which in turn influence our libido, our sexiness, our desires, because that change, everything changes in a way. Sometimes it's very radical, sometimes it's very sudden, sometimes it's more subtle. Sometimes some women experience a decrease of libido, and sometimes some women experience an increase of libido. And it's very different whether you are in perimenopause and at which stage of perimenopause, if you are in the menopause, or if you are postmenopausal. Menopause, the medical terms, let's say, or the time frame for menopause is supposedly 1 year after your last period. That is menopause. But that doesn't mean that the hormones do not continue to play up. You still have some cycles, and your mood are still influenced in a lesser way, but those hormones don't disappear. So you are still very much, for those who sometimes tell me I'm not a woman anymore, I'm menopausal, or I'm losing my femininity, that is really that's a mindset. You are changing, you are evolving, and you are still fully a woman. You're just a different woman. So about difference, and that is what I love to talk about with most of my clients, is that when people tell me, oh, on menopause, women don't want to have sex anymore, I don't feel like it. And well, ladies, let's be honest about this for a moment. And let's just say it as it is. It's not that most of us don't want sex anymore. It's that we don't want bad sex anymore. We want something different. We want to be touched differently. We want to be loved differently. We want to be approached differently. The hormones that used to do all the work, basically you were horny, you were not horny, you didn't need a lot of work. Some of us do, or some of us know that they want to, but many of us were just quite happy with straight, regular, straightforward, easy sex without much effort on the part of their partners, whether they're male or female or anything in between or around that. Let's say sex was straightforward. You had a desire, or you were horny, and you had sex, and it was fine, or it was not fine, because very often it's not that easy. And we'll talk about orgasm another time. But basically, what happens when you enter perimenopause and menopause is that your needs and desires are different. You want something different, so you're not so much interested in quick, absent-minded, sometimes rough, sometimes careless sex. What you want is actually to feel. You want to feel, you want sensations, you want to be cared for, you want your partner to be present for you. Otherwise, you are not interested. And because unfortunately most of us have not had that in their lives, they confuse, I'm not interested in what I used to have, therefore I don't want to have it, with my libido has decreased. I don't want sex anymore. So very often, and that's when, of course, couples work is really interesting and really important, is to get to be in touch. What I teach my client is to start being in touch with what they really, really want, what they really desire, how they want to be touched, how they want to be made love to, how they want to have sex if they weren't really participating before with their partner. So it's a complete mindset shift, and heart and sex shift also, because of course all of this is related. So yes, absolutely, there is a change in libido when you enter the adventure, the process. Menopause is a process. It is not an end. It is something you go through, and something, when you go through it gracefully, or at least consciously and with awareness, that can revolutionize your life completely at every level, it's a teaching. It's a trial by fire, and I'm only at the beginning, so I can only talk for myself from what I am experiencing right now. But I've met quite a few women who had this very holistic spiritual approach to menopause and who were delighted, really completely happy, and of course supported by mainly plant medicine, alternative herbal plant medicine, which makes a very big difference from chemical hormone replacement therapy, because you keep very much in touch with your body, with your emotion, with what's going on inside you. So menopause is a process. Menopause is an experience. It's an adventure that we are called into, and that I really invite all of us to appreciate for the gift that it is. And so yes, our libido will change, but or end, because it's not a problem that our libido changes. The problem is not wanting to acknowledge the change and to go with it and to support this change in the best possible ways, with herbs, with counsel, with therapy, with breathing exercise, with movement exercises, sound exercises, working on the chakra, working holistically on ourselves, and becoming really a new person, really becoming a new woman, not an old woman or not an has-been woman, but a fully alive menopausal, peri-menopausal, post-menopausal woman. I find that super exciting. I'm 47, I'm going to be 50 soon. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see what this process has in store for me. So if you're worried about this, or if you want a pep talk, or if you want to work in this very holistic, positive, sex positive, body positive, female positive, spirituality positive way, I invite to connect with me, and I'll be very honored to guide you through this process. So about processes, there is something else coming up that I'm very excited about, that I've mentioned last week also, and that has a link, of course, with pre, peri, and postmenopausal and menopausal women, and that is the red tents, inspired from Anita Diamond's book called The Red Tent, which is a very safe, sacred, and creative space for women to gather and to share their lives, share their concerns, of course also talk about their sex lives if needed, but mainly it's a supportive space for women to be together and to receive the support of other women. It's very, very healing. It is very inspiring. It is very touching emotionally, because when we gather as women, we open up again by creating a safe space, a safe, creative, supportive space. We're not only able, we're invited to open up, to feel safe enough in ourselves, to trust ourselves enough to open up to sisters, mothers, daughters in the room, in the red tent, and not only share our concerns or our burden, but also share our talents, our skills, our advice, our experience. It's such a beautiful, nourishing space to have women of all age being able to get together, support each other, and give each other advice, share their life experience with each other. What we offer in the Red Tone practically is, as I said, a safe, open, creative, and supportive space that will be very loosely structured every month. It's going to be on a Friday, usually right before or the new moon or the full moon. So we're going to follow the moon cycles. Exercises to enhance your health and your sexual energy. And exercises to practice open, clear, and radically honest communication with one another. So basically skills that you can use in your everyday life to feel better, to have a better health, to feel more beautiful, to get more confident with yourself, and also skills to communicate who you are, where you're at, what you want, what you don't want, etc., etc. So we will be offering, or rather inviting, the women participating in the red tent to drop deeper inside themselves, and from that place to learn new skill, to share their skills, to share their worries, to share their successes, to share their laughs, to share their life, to share their sexuality stories or concerns or success. Again, tips and tricks of the trade in every level. It really will be something really beautiful. It's happening all over Europe, actually all over the world. Red tents are sprouting, and it is something that makes me very happy. I invite all women from teenagers to crone, from maiden to crone, and we will talk, of course, about the 4 archetypes of womanhood in the red tent circles. Also, I'm going to drink something, I'm thirsty. So I really invite you to, first of all, go into the Red Tent Kent private group, Crows group on Facebook, and to ask to join. And from there, you'll be able to share information, but also to be kept informed about the dates, the themes, the place, the venues of the Red Tents. This will be starting in September, and it's going to be absolutely fabulous. We're going to be in the Holistic Centre in Brooms Park in Barham, near Canterbury. It is a delightful venue in a fantastic park, very quiet, very soothing, pacifying. So please sign up to the group, and as from now, please share your wishes with us. Let us know what you would like to experience. If there is something you want to offer, we're very open to that too. If you are an artist or a healer and you want to propose an activity, please do. We are very happy to hear from you. This is going to be a collaborative space also. So Red Tent Kent on Facebook, it's a closed group, and of course all the info will also be on Women's Sexuality Kent. So that is really something to be looking forward to, and watch that space. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being with me every week. I know a lot of you are listening and sending me encouraging comments privately. So if some of you want to react live and publicly, please do, because it's always nice for me to see. Please come next week, 8 o'clock UK time. Send me your questions, send me your thoughts. And this is an interactive talk, so whenever you want to chip in, please do. It's been a pleasure to receive your questions, to answer them, and to just to be with you, knowing that we are creating a community of women wanting to grow more healthy, more sexy, and more open, and that are able to communicate and to share this. It's really a privilege. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.